Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing great. We are going to talk about top 4 career struggles that I see currently going on. I have been thinking about how can I bring this to you in a way that's going to be super simple, super valuable. So this is what I've decided to do. I'm going to cover 4 main things that I see individuals struggling with when it comes to their career at the moment. The things that I see from my clients, the things that I hear around, the things that I see on LinkedIn. And what I decided to do is to break this down into how that might look like for you. And then I will give you 3 practical tips as to what you can do, what you can consider doing when it comes to each of those. Now, I also put them in an order, like there is no specific order. I was just putting them out there. So let's just go through all of them. If you have any questions, please let me know. If there are any other struggles you're currently having that you would like us to discuss further, please let me know as well. I will be happy to go more in depth with you and your individual situation. So the first one here that I noted down is job insecurity. Now, this is how that might look for you, right? The first one, it can be that you know for a fact that your job is insecure. And what I mean by that is there has been potentially an announcement made in your company, or you have already had a chat with your manager where they've told you that there are certain things coming up and it looks very insecure at the moment, or your project is coming to an end. The point here is that you know for a fact, right? So it's not just your idea, right? But it's a factual information that your job is insecure at the moment and certain things are going to be made. You just don't know what or how will that look like exactly, right? And then the second thing that I often see is that you think your job is insecure, but you don't know for a fact. All right. So how that might look like is you believe that some colleagues are doing better work than you, so you're a bit afraid, like, will they even keep you in the team? Or you might not be 100% aware of the value you bring to your team and your business. You might not have a very clear idea of it. Or it might mean that your performance maybe hasn't been the same as it used to be. So you're wondering, oh no, right? What is going to happen? So the point there is really that you don't have it as a fact. You haven't received any specific feedback, but you kind of have a feeling or you are kind of in your thoughts about it. Now, the thing here is that no matter if it's a factual information, no matter if it's just your thought, both of these obviously have a very strong impact or can have a very strong impact on your performance, because instead of focusing on work and focusing on your day-to-day tasks and focusing on how can you provide value and become really invaluable team member, you're thinking, oh no, what if I lose my job, or I feel super insecure, or all right. So what I want you to do is help you really bring the focus back to what is actually very important, that is going to help you feel more secure at your work. So here's what you can do. So first of all, talk to your manager. Have a transparent and honest conversation, explaining them how you feel, explaining them where you are in your mind at the moment, and asking for their feedback. Now, it can happen that they also might not have enough information, but then you can think about, all right, so who might be the right person for me to talk to? Or when do you think we might have more information? Or what do you think can help me maybe boost my, how can I say, like opportunity or possibility to stay within the company? But the point there is kind of to get out of your head, really, if I may say that way, and talk to the person. So instead of assuming, instead of overthinking, instead of getting caught up in your mind drama, you want to take action and clarify things. The second thing you want to do is you want to focus on boosting your performance. So you want to look into, okay, so what have I been doing that's working? What have I been doing that might not be working that well? And what can I improve at the moment? How can I take more action? How can I put myself out there? What extra project might I be able to take? How can I become even more efficient with my work schedule? How can I help my colleagues? How can I help my manager? What other responsibility can I take, right? So there are a bunch of questions you might want to ask yourself to think about, again, what is the way I can become more invaluable to my team so that if it comes to the point of me potentially losing my job, I am not high on the list. Okay. So again, think about what is within your control that you can do that is going to help you gain this competitive advantage in terms of being a better performer and bringing better results to your team and business. And then the third thing you want to think about is to have a backup plan, right? And what I mean by that is, all right, so have you done any research in terms of what is going on the market? Have you done any research or have you thought for yourself, if I were to leave this company, what could the next step look like for me? Have you been connecting with your colleagues or ex-colleagues or other people that you have in your network? Have you been actively kind of keeping yourself, active really in terms of talking to people, seeing what's going on in the market, knowing your value, knowing your achievements, being very clear about everything that you can bring to the team? And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. But like, instead of kind of sitting and waiting for things to happen, being more active in terms of creating an environment around yourself that should it come to the worst, you know exactly what or whom to talk to next. All right. Because when you don't take action, or when you kind of sit and wait, you stay in this space of fear, being fearful and just kind of, waiting for something to happen instead of you being the one, let's see what's going on around. Let's see whom I can talk to. Let's see whom I can network with. And again, we're going to talk about networking in a minute. But again, whatever you do, you don't want to kind of sit and wait for things to happen, but you want to be around people. You want to mingle, you want to talk, you want to know what's on the market, you want to know the newest trends, you want to know who might be employing. The next one I see is work-life balance. I mean, this is something really that I guess we all struggle with on a different level, right? So how that might look like for you is you're doing regular overtime, right? So you're constantly doing overtime. Now, I am also doing a lot of overtime, 100%, but I also take time to reflect, how often do I do it, right? Because if we are in a situation there where you're doing overtime almost all the time, what can be wrong about that in terms of, can you do a better job in terms of your time management? Or are you really spending your time on the right activities, right? And especially you can reflect on that by looking, okay, so what are my results? So if you're doing so much overtime, are your results kind of corresponding to that overtime? You know what I mean? And then the next one, how that might look like for you, is you never kind of switch off from work. So even when you are with your family, you are there physically, let's say, but in your mind, you're thinking, oh, about this email, or oh, about that meeting, or oh, about this and that conflict that's going on, or you are like physically somewhere else, but mentally you are still at work, and those kind of thoughts and ideas and everything don't necessarily feel good as well. So what to do about that? Let's think about it. So first and foremost, something that obviously sounds very simple, but it isn't easy, is setting boundaries. I work a lot with my clients on this one, because this is something that, again, we all struggle with. But setting boundaries isn't something that is kind of a nice to have or an occasional thing to have, but it is a rather thing that is super necessary for you, for your overall well-being, for your protecting your time, for protecting your energy, for being in a sustainable growth and environment. It is so extremely important. So you want to think about, what are you currently doing that you might need to stop doing, and what can you start doing instead, right? What are the certain things about responsibilities that you're taking on that you know you shouldn't be taking, but you're taking them anyway. And what are the boundaries you can create around that? What are the boundaries you can create around being reachable? What are the boundaries you can create in terms of working or not working over the weekend? Think about not only what boundaries do you want to do, but what boundaries do you actually need to do? You might not want to take them, but you need to do it, need to take them, to set them, right? The next thing, and this is actually going to help you with setting boundaries, really, is goal setting and planning. Now, one of the things that I do with my clients is that we do weekly goal setting, and then based on weekly goal setting, we do daily goal setting, right? So how would that look like is, let's say you ask yourself, by the end of this week, where do I wish to be? What is my goal for the end of the week? So at the end of Friday, at the end of my work day on Friday, what are the things that I want to have had achieved? Okay. And you want to make sure that those goals are measurable and very, very specific. So if you're saying, for example, I want to read more, for example, that's not a specific and measurable measurable goal, right? So you might want to say, I want to finish the book that I'm currently reading by Friday this week, for example, right? And then based on that goal, and you want to have, let's say, maximum 3 goals per week, 3 bigger goals per week. And then based on those goals, every morning when you start your work or you start your day, you ask yourself, in order for me to read my book, the whole book by the end of this week, for example, how many pages do I need to read today? And this is going to go as one of your goals for the day. All right. Or if you're saying, obviously now, this was a bit of an example, but for example, if you are in sales and if you're doing business development calls and you want to say, I want to, let's say, sign up to new clients by the end of this week, you then want to ask yourself, all right, so in order for me to sign up to new clients by the end of the week, what do I need to, or how many calls or how many emails or how many reach outs do I need to do today? Okay, so this is how we do it. And based on that, right, so I have to, let's say, call 10 people, then you ask yourself, all right, how am I going to do that? And you kind of set your boundaries around that. You will know immediately that scrolling on Instagram, for example, might not really be something that will help you get those clients, or it might be, I don't know what business or work you do, but if it's not, you want to be like, all right, so one of my boundaries is going to be that I'm not going to spend more than, let's say, 15 minutes today on Instagram, right? The point there is you have a goal, and once you're very specific about the goal, once you're very specific about how to get your goal, everything else that doesn't support that should be out. As simple as that. Okay. And then I put here also explore different ways to work. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you are doing home office all the time, or if you are at work or in the office all the time, maybe you can split that a bit better. Maybe you can talk to your manager about instead of being in the office or in home office 5 times per week, if you can do 2 times and 3 times, or 3 times and 2 times, whatever. Just like to change a bit the environment, change the ways that you have been doing so far, because obviously the ways that you have been following so far might not be the best ways for you. So you want to experiment a bit and see what will help. Maybe being in the office will help you to be a bit more proactive, to be more intentional when setting boundaries, versus being at home and kind of constantly working all the time. And then even when the official work day is over, you're still at home, you're kind of going, after hours without even noticing that. So see a bit how else can you structure really your work and work environment. And one more thing, actually, I want to mention here that could be also very useful, and that is finding an accountability partner. So that can be either one of your colleagues, or it can be also your family member, right? This is one very, very good way to keep each other's accountable. Sometimes when I'm super, into work and in creating and so forth, and I completely lose the sense of what time it is and how long I've been working, I have my partner who is like, hey, enough for today. Right? Or you might want to schedule certain activities after work so that you cannot say no, so that you really have to stop working and go. Whatever works for you, especially if it doesn't come naturally. You want to be a bit more strict with yourself initially and then kind of ease into it. So the next one I have here is reaching the next level, right? Or advancing in your career. And now how that might look for you is you feel stuck. You don't know how to define what's next. You're not sure, right? Or you might be feeling too comfortable at work or even too bored at work. I often hear that, right? Like everything is kind of same old same. You're super comfortable, but you don't know what specifically would next step look like. And because you don't know what the next step would look like, you also don't know what you need to do. So here is what you can do. So firstly, let's self-reflect. And what I mean by self-reflecting is let's reflect on your past experiences, your background, your achievements, your results, your interests, your values, your skill set. So let's reflect on you as a professional. And by the way, one great way to do that is if you go on my website, which you can see in the, it's approachyourcoach.com. You will see there is a career assessment that you can take. It's a free career assessment. You can go through it. I'm leading you through 11 different aspects of your career that are going to give you a better overview of what is happening, where you are in your career at the moment, and what you can consider in terms of what's next for yourself. All right. So that is a great way where you can self-reflect. I would definitely encourage you to go and check it out. So again, approachyourcoach.com, and then you have career assessment that you can take. So again, you want to reflect on everything that you have achieved and who you are as a business professional so far. And that is going to that exercise is going to open up so many new ideas and perspectives for you. So this is really like, in general, in life, the key to any kind of growth is stopping, pausing, and self-reflecting. Because only then will you know, okay, so based on this, what could be the next step for me? One other thing that you can consider is ask for feedback, ask for support. Is it from your colleague? Is it from your manager? Is it from your ex-colleague or manager? Whoever knows you in a professional setting that you obviously, respect and appreciate and is very knowledgeable in what they do. And so you want to ask them, what do they see like to be a next step for you? Now, that doesn't mean, of course, that you're going to blindly follow that, but this is just for you to get an extra opinion. All right. So definitely it's not something, okay, you said to do that, so I'm just going to do that. It's more about, again, just getting an idea, an additional perspective so that can help you to really find out and define the next step for yourself. And then the next one I have here is being proactive. So again, instead of sitting and kind of waiting for your opportunity, for different opportunities to come to you, how can you create those opportunities? What is going on around you that you can kind of utilize to create certain opportunities? Is there a project you can volunteer for? Is it another department you can reach out to? Is it another colleague you can talk to? Is it an educational course you can take? Is it, what can it be, right? What is something, again, you can do actively, proactively to help yourself reach the next level in your career? And sometimes it's much more simple than we even think. We might think it's like so much that needs to be done, but very, very often is just the smallest tweak can make the biggest difference. And then the fourth one that I put here is networking. So this is how it might look for you. So it feels salesy. It feels unnatural. It feels like, ugh, I hate it. I don't want to do it. I don't know how to talk to people. Or, yeah, and that is actually essentially the second one, right? Like, I don't know how to do it. You don't know how to talk to people. You do know how to talk to people. Everybody knows how to talk to people. The thing, though, that I see is that networking is portrayed as something, wow, it's such a fancy word, networking. Let's network. Where essentially networking is literally having a conversation with another person. That's it. You talking, having words come out of your mouth, right? Not focusing on I'm here to sell, or I'm here to ask something, or I'm here to, I don't know, gain something out of you. I'm here to genuinely explore and learn about you. And that brings me to what to do, right? Being genuinely interested in others. Now, think about that. All of us, each of us has so much to share. We all have so much to learn from each other. Like, why wouldn't we want to be interested about that? Each and every person has so much to give you, of course, if you open your mind to that. right? So why not and explore? It doesn't mean you're gonna spend, I don't know, days and days talking to every single person you encounter, but when you do have an opportunity to meet other people and learn about them and share knowledge and improve and grow together, why not? Why not? So if networking with new people feels, awkward and you aren't sure, start by reconnecting with, people that you already know or that you have been in contact in the past. Reconnect, send them a quick message or give them a quick call. Hi, just thought of you. How have you been going? How have you been doing? What's been going on in your world? I would be curious to see what's happening. This is where I am at the moment. Let's have a chat. For example, it can be as simple as that. You're not there to ask anything. You're being genuinely interested. Hey, what is happening? How are you? And then letting the story evolve from there, right? And the same approach, again, can be more or less same approach, right? Can be applied to reaching to new people. Can be like, hey, oh, I see that you have background in this and this, or I see that you're connected with that and that person. I was curious to expand my network. If you're up for it, let's do it. Let's connect. Let's have a chat. I see that we have similar interests, right? Be genuinely interested about people. And really commit yourself to getting out there. And what I mean by that is, especially if you aren't confident about it, the only way to be confident or to boost your confidence is by doing, not by sitting at home, researching, hiding behind the screen, and thinking one day you will become more confident, because you won't. I often say to my clients, confidence is like a muscle. And we build muscles by exercising, aren't we? Right? So this is exactly how you're going to build up your confidence muscle as well, by putting yourself out there, while by talking to people, by being open and honest even with them. Sometimes you might be like, listen, this is, I've just started doing this. It's a bit new to me. So, please be patient. But you need to commit to getting yourself out there. You need to commit to talking to people. And when I say talking to people, I don't mean only messaging people. I mean talking, like calling people, meeting people in person as well, right? All right. So I would love to hear from you. So what struggles might you be having at the moment in your career, or what challenges you might be facing? Let me know if you have any questions about the ones that we've covered today. Let me know if you'd like us to go in more in depth in either of those. But also, I would really like to hear, what have you been facing recently that has been bugging you, that has been bothering you, that you're not very sure about how to move on? Let's have a chat. So you can reach out to me per email. So as you can see, Sandra at approachyourcoach.com. And then approachyourcoach.com is also my website. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and of course also on Instagram. And the links to those are going to be below in the comments. So I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you for being here with me, and I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye. Just trying to figure out how do I stop this. Okay, here we go. Bye.